Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about humility. I have talked about this in the previous videos, as in some previous videos as well. I am deepening this. So I attended a lecture yesterday and he talked about humility as well. And then I was talking to a friend afterwards and that deepened it for me as well. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about, first I'll tell you the story of what happened in that lecture, what he talked about and what resonated, and then I'll deepen it further. So um, in the lecture, it was a spiritual lecture. So he was talking about this person who came on earth 500-600 years ago. His name was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a great devotee of the Lord, a great, the greatest kind of devotee of the Lord. And he had somebody who was serving him, who was his assistant, pretty much towards the end 24/7, his assistant. And of course this is not like a paid assistantship or anything. The person was just thrilled to be serving him, because when you serve a great devotee of the Lord, you build your connection with the Lord in a much deeper way as well. So his name was Govinda and he was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was just immensely in love with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, was immensely in love with him, and but in a spiritual love way, not the material love way. And of course, they were both great devotees of the Lord. So, what Govinda would do is he would cook for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he would serve him, he would give him food, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat. And then Govinda would eat not the remaining food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but this other person also. He was also a great devotee of the Lord, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved him. And he was kind of an outcast from society. He was not allowed to enter temples because he was born in a Muslim family, and there was just all kinds of things. So he would take that food, the remaining food from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would take it to him, and he would eat it. That other guy. And then when he had finished eating, whatever was remaining, he wouldn't eat that himself either. He would go and he would give it to other devotees in the temple. And when everybody had finished eating, whatever was remaining, then he would eat it himself. Now, there was another story by Radha Maharaj. This is a true story. He went, when he was 18 or 19 or something, he went to India. He hitchhiked from Europe to India. And he has this book called Journey Home. So that's where he describes this incident. He was in the Himalayas. And there was this ascetic there, a sage, who used to not go out for food. Like he would just not care about food at all. And there was this woman who would bring him 3 bread slices, 3 rotis every day. And that's all he had every day. Whatever she would bring, if she would bring, he would have. She would bring usually. So he would have that and that's it. Radhanath Maharaj stayed with him for a few days. Every single day, that person gave Radhanath Maharaj all 3 rotis of his and begged him, please have it, please have it. You'll be doing me a favor if you have it. And Radhanath Maharaj had it, but he was guilty. He was like, what are you doing? You're going hungry. You're not eating. But then he insisted so much that Radhanath Maharaj did have it. And so that is the ultimate level of sacrifice. He went hungry for days and he didn't care. So that is okay. So what do we do? So I was talking to this friend then, and this friend was like, but people take advantage of you. Like if I right now say, okay, I'll give away all my money, people won't care about how I am, where I'm living, if I'm okay or not. They'll just take all my money, right? They'll take advantage of me, and then I'll be homeless and I'll be suffering. So then the question is, how do you protect yourself? Like in this day and age, I'm not where that Radhanath Maharaj's saint was, and I'm not where Govinda is also, where I just give my food away. I'm very much the kind of person who has been putting my plate away aside first, and then I'll serve everybody else, right? I mean, put your own oxygen mask first, and then help others. Like that is the thing that I've always followed, and so I will protect myself. But what I want my goal to be that where I don't need to do that. I don't need to feel secure by putting my food away. And the way he was saying, the lecturer yesterday, was just, it was so sarcastic. He was like, first you'll put your own plate first, and you'll put a mountain of rice, and then you'll put a mountain of this, and there's going to be sweets, and of course you want to have those sweets, so you'll put those aside, and you'll put everything, and then every other people will be like, okay, is there going to be anything left for me? So yeah, I mean, and I'm there. I put my plate aside first and enough, like where I feel satisfied, and then I will. So how, what can we do? What we can do is we can have the goal to be in a position where we are able to serve others. Why and how that works is, I'll tell you. So there is this concept of, I've talked about this before multiple times. There's a concept of judgment versus discernment. So I this is very, it takes, like, it's very useful and powerful for every situation. So what is that? So I'm going to be talking about humility in a way that makes us strong, not weak. Strong, what does strong mean? Strong does not mean that we're lording it over other people. Strong does not mean that we're proving ourselves better than everybody else. Strong means that we are feeling an immense amount of love from God. So, okay, so what do human beings, okay, so let me, okay, discernment versus judgment. So, discernment is using our intellect, using our brains, and seeing the situation and seeing where, and I'm going to talk about the other person, seeing where I am in the wrong or where I am flawed or something. That's of course there, but I'm going to be talking about specifically other people right now. So, discernment is understanding that this person has this weakness, this flaw, this person has this greed in this particular situation, or this envy in this particular situation, or this anger, or whatever. Understanding what the other person's character is. That's discernment using our intellect. That is important. That is okay, right? That is not, I'm not saying go blindly and dumbly around in the world. No, not at all. The problem is that we immediately jump to the next stage, which is judgment. Okay, so now there is this thing. It's to why we came on earth in the first place. Now that's a question. Why did God send us to earth in the first place? And nobody really knows the answer to that. But the basic answer is that we wanted to come here, we wanted to enjoy away from the Lord. We wanted not to serve the Lord, not to love the Lord. We wanted to be the proprietors. We wanted to have our own thing. So God was like, okay, He gives us free will. So He's like, okay, I will create. I mean, He was merciful enough to create earth for us so that we can live here, so that we can breathe and we can eat and we can do whatever we want to, and we can enjoy in the way that we want to. But he knew that we will not be happy without him. So he gave us, this is another lecturer who's so good in the way, sarcastic also in the way he said it. He gave us our mind. He gave us our mind so that we can have this image that we are the best. That's the mind, the ego. We are the best. Every single human being, I feel that I am the best. Every single human being feels that, right? It doesn't matter whether we're the ugliest person on the planet, the stupidest person on the planet, the whatever person on the planet, we will feel that we're the best. And until 5 or 6 years ago, I used to feel that, I used to be like, if I'm not the best, why would anybody want me? Why would anybody love me? It's not even possible. I have to be the best. So, okay, so that is the judgment. So when we get to, and this judgment comes in immediately, like as soon as we discern that I am better than this person, we immediately jump naturally to judgment. I am better than you. It means I am going to be loved more than you. I need to prove to you that I am better than you. So this is evidence. And so yes, I can prove to you that I am better than you. And this is great for me because then I will be loved before you. And it does, I know that you are better than me in many places. This is the real day-to-day life. I know that you're better than me in many things, but in these particular ways, I am better than you. Which means that I will find somebody who values this same particular things that I'm better than, and I will be loved by that person. That is the whole concept of judgment. That is the whole concept of ego, of wanting to prove myself better than than the other person. So what are we doing when we're doing this? Love is completely opposite to ego. Love is completely opposite to pride. Love and humility go hand in hand, and love and pride are opposite. Humility and pride are opposite. The pride When you're proud, you cannot love, because pride means I am better than you. And love means I love you. You are amazing. You are absolutely amazing. And I don't have to I don't have to compare myself or put myself down, but you are amazing and I want to serve you, because love is service. What do I do for you? You can't say I love you, but I'm not going to do anything for you. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I improve your life? How can I make you happy? Love is seeking somebody else's happiness. Love is seeking somebody else's joy and helping them achieve that joy or attain that joy. So when you're loving somebody, then you're automatically not proud. You're saying you are amazing, right? You are putting them, um, you're honoring them. So when we immediately jump to judgment, then we're not loving the person. Then we're immediately going opposite to the judgment. So then, what is humility? Humility is not saying I am bad or not protecting myself or not setting boundaries. Humility is saying I am not better than you. I am not considering myself the best. I am not considering myself better than you. So when we get to true humility, then we are able to access the love of God. Okay, so now when we get to the place where we have this true humility, where we're able to access love, real true humility, where we're able to access love, not just for other people, but for God, right? True humility for God. Then we are showered. It's like a cloud. It's like a cloud, and it's a big, huge cloud just pouring torrents and torrents and torrents of love onto us. And we can just stand there and just be amazed with humility. How is it possible for you, God, to love me so much? How can I repay you? How can I love you at all, even the slightest bit? Can you please show me how to love you? So when we are in that torrent of, when we are able to receive that, when we open our minds and our hearts enough to be able to receive that love from God, then we are able to share that love with other people as well. Then we, instead of wanting them to love us, instead of feeling anger and resentment because they are not loving us or they are not respecting us or they are not making us feel like we are good or we are the best. We need to feel like we're the best, and they're not doing that, so we get angry or we get resentful. So instead of being in that position, then we can be in the position where we are able to share love for them. We are able to give love to them. We're able to pour the love that we're receiving from God. We're able to pour that love and shelter onto them. But that comes from humility. And the humility is that I am not the best. I am a tiny, tiny speck of dust. I am a tiny particle. I am a tiny droplet of a droplet of a droplet of a droplet of an ocean. And that's okay. I am loved for who I am. I don't need to be the best in order to be loved. I am so crazy, deeply loved for who I am. I do not need to be the best. And when I am there, then I can be in a position where I want to give to others, where I feel that love and my cup is overflowing and I want to give to others. And in that situation, so when then I can have this goal that I want to be able to serve others, and I don't need to keep that plate of mine aside first. I love so much. There is so much love in my heart that I want the other person. It makes me genuinely, deeply happy that I'm helping the other person and I'm feeding the other person and I'm making them happy. And so, so the goal for us is to get to that place of humility, get to that place of feeling love from God, get to the place of feeling nourishment and shelter from God, so that we can then pour our love on to God and beg God, please, please engage me in your service. Please tell me how I can love you. Please tell me how I can pour all of my love onto you. And please tell me how I can pour all of my love onto all of the people all of the living beings that you love, because God loves everything, right? Everyone. So then the goal is not to run away from the consequences of our action, from the karmas that we have accumulated. We are not praying to God, please help me get over my karmas. Please help me, please keep me away from pain. Please protect me from pain. I don't need that anymore. Because I'm like, if I have done something to hurt somebody, I need to be punished for it. If I have done something, so karma is accumulated because we're hurting something, right? We're hurting every living being is a soul. So we're hurting a soul, or we're hurting nature, or we're hurting something, or we're hurting, God will not be hurt, but we're offending God or something. So when we have this understanding that I want whatever I have done wrong, let me face the consequences of it. I do not need, I do not need you to take away all of the consequences. I'm not praying to you. That's not love, because then I want something from God. Please take away my sins, please take away my consequences for my actions. That's transactional. I'm asking God for something. But when I get to this place where you're like, okay, I am okay to face whatever it is. Please, God, give me the strength to be able to face the consequences of my action. And please help me never forget you. Please help me never, for even the slightest moment, ever forget you. Forget how much love you have for me. Forget how much love, give me love for you, so that I can build my real, true, deep relationship with you. I want to feel your love, even if I'm feeling an immense amount of pain because of my past actions. I want to feel your love. And that is humility. Humility for God, humility for understanding that my actions are my responsibility and the consequences of my actions are my responsibility. And it is okay, whatever I have. I just beg God for strength to be able to face it and not lose connection with Him in the face of that. So, sorry, I got distracted. Yeah. So when we get to a place where we can feel that shelter from God, then automatically all of this thing will come. And what we can have right now is the goal to have this shelter and nourishment from God, so that we can get to a place where we can actually truly love other people and truly love somebody else, instead of needing them to love us, instead of needing them to respect us, instead of needing them to honor us, instead of needing them to tell us that we are worthy and we are capable of being loved. Okay. Wish you a day filled with an immense amount of true humility, so that leads to this crazy, that intense pouring that love of pouring of God is there anyways. We're not able to feel it and access it, but wish you the ability to be able to feel it and access this intense outpouring of love that is coming from the clouds of God's love. It's the torrents of love that He's pouring onto us. Wish you the ability to feel that and be able to access that. Wish you a beautiful day. Radhe Radhe.